This is a little bit of instruction on how to be ready to start the lab, the Alka Seltzer lab. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. So if we look at the materials that we need 3 clear glasses. Now, I'm going to use these clear plastic cups, and that's going to work out good for me. Maybe you have something like this, like a mason jar. That will work just fine. Or perhaps you've got your junior chemistry set at home and you've got a beaker. A beaker would be great. That would be what we would use if we were doing it at school together. But like I mentioned, these little plastic cups, that's what I'm going to use, and that's going to work out just fine. We need 6 Alka Seltzer tablets. So I've got my Walmart Alka Seltzer, and each of the little packets inside has 2 tablets, so you're going to need 3 packets of the Alka Seltzer. You're going to need a stopwatch. So I've got one right here. Let's see, reset it right now. So we're all at zeros and ready to go and take our first measurement. And next, the instructions say you need a mortar and a pestle. If you have that, that's great. Maybe your mom's got one in the kitchen or your dad, but a spoon will work fine. We can mash these up just fine with a spoon. So there is one thing that is not listed in the materials. That's the late item that I added on in an update last night. It tells us we're going to need 100 milliliters, or actually it says 200 milliliters of water. I'm going to use a graduated cylinder to measure that, and I'm actually only going to use 100 milliliters. 100 milliliters will be enough. Now I know that most of you don't have a graduated cylinder at home. So what you can use instead, 100 milliliters is about 1/2 cup. So if you can run to the kitchen and get a 1/2 cup measuring cup, that will serve just as well as a graduated cylinder. So once you have all those things in place, then we'll be ready to start the experiment. Now we're going to go a little bit out of order here as opposed to how we would do it if we were in the classroom. Normally we would, before we start prepping any of our materials, we would do our hypothesis and identify our variables. But for today, because we're going to be doing this at home, I'm going to first show you how to get the Alka Seltzers ready. So we are going to prepare the Alka Seltzer 3 different ways. So I'm opening one of the packages of tablets, and inside each one is 2 tablets. And for each exercise, we're going to use 1/2 a tablet. So the first thing we can do is break each tablet as closely as we can. We're going to break it in half. Just do your best. It probably won't be exactly half, but do your best. See, mine broke a little bit. So we've got those 2, and then a couple more. And those broke up pretty ugly too. But that's okay. I'll show you that's going to work for us in the end. So I'm going to take this one out of the way right now. We are going to prepare our tablets 3 different ways. The first way is just that. 1/2 a tablet, just like this. This will be one of our samples. Another tablet, we're going to break into 4 pieces. So that one's already started. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So now that one's in 4 pieces. The last one, we're going to use the spoon or the mortar and pestle if you have it, and we're going to break it up. And I really recommend that when you break it up, you do it inside a container somehow. Oops, shooting it all over the room. Don't do that. Because it'll be much easier to put into the water later on as opposed to trying to scrape it off a plate or a piece of paper or something. It's in the cup. You can just dump the cup out and you'll be ready to go. So just keep mashing it up until it's mostly a powder to Doesn't have to be, you can see we're getting a little closer there. I'm going to break up some of those other bits real quick. Set it on the side, that'll help. Just smash them up. So now it's a powder. Can you see that okay? We have a powder. So that is the way we're preparing our Alka Seltzer tablets. Now, we've done one of each. So we have one trial with a whole tablet, one trial with the tablet in 4 pieces, and one trial with the tablet in a powder. We're actually going to do 3 trials of each. During class time, we're probably just going to do one, but then you can do the other 2 trials to get the rest of your data on your own after science class. So we'll try and do as many as we can. If we have more time in science class, we'll try and get them all done, but we're going to do one of each during class.